Welcome back, true believers. So I just rebuilt the Maverick bike into a 1 gear. But it doesn't really matter what kind of gears you have on your bike or how many. Any way you slice it, you gotta have pedals. But what type of pedals should you choose? Well, in this episode, we're gonna talk about your pedal choice based on how you use your bike and what kind of bike you have. So let's get to it. Remember that last jackass in a car who beeped at you and told you to get off the road when you were doing everything right on a bicycle? Well, guess what? Clicking on that like and subscribe button and hitting the notification bell helps us share bike love so we can continue to piss those people off worldwide. Bonjour, Mavericks. Welcome back to another episode. Tonight we're talking about all things pedals. What type of pedal should you use for your bike? Well, most of us grew up using something like this, the flat pedal. That pedal is traditional, it is simple, it allows you to use any kind of footwear. Vans, sneakers, my Merrells, loafers and dress shoes, even high heels. Yes, high heels. Flat pedals can do it. You can get off your bike immediately, walk into a store, walk anywhere, not clip-clop around like you do on clip-in pedals. But wait a minute. Rob, you crazy biking fanatic, you ask. Why are they called clipless pedals when you have to clip your shoe into them?
Well, see, manufacturers needed a way to differentiate toe clips and strap pedals from this new type of pedal that required you to clip your whole shoe into it, which is a cleat. The term clipless really refers to the lack of toe clips rather than the fact that you have to physically connect your shoe to the pedal.
But because it didn't use a toe clip by the traditional name, it was called a clipless pedal. Yes, that is completely irrational and doesn't make any sense. Welcome to the bike industry. You should see the standards they use when they make bikes. There aren't any. So, your options are, you've got the flat pedal. Now, many people who ride fixed gear will ride with a strap on their flat pedal. Essentially the modern equivalent of the toe clip, but stronger, easier to get in and out of when you're pedaling, etc. This strap is essential if you're going to ride an actual fixie or fixed gear bike, not simply a 1 gear that allows you to spin or has a coaster brake, etc. This allows you to put upward pressure on the pedal and actually stop the bike from rotating
without needing an actual brake of any kind.
The first company to make the clipless pedal was Look.
Now, Look was the first company to introduce the cleat and the pedal to professional racing and cycling in general. This is during the Greg LeMond era. And the cleat requires a pedal and a cleat on the bottom of a shoe in order to be able to make the connection.
So the two parts that make up your clipless pedal are the pedal and the cleat.
Now you can have triangular pedals like you do with Shimano or Look, or you can have round pedals like the ones I use, which are Speed Play.
You may also see a wide variety of odd pedals as well that usually come related to mountain bikes because the shoes are different. One of the disadvantages of walking around in these shoes is the cleat is in the front, so it's almost like wearing reverse heels. Your toes are pointed up. It is kind of odd to walk in. My Speed Plays come with a rubber pad on the bottom, so that prevents them from doing any damage to the floors you might be walking on, and that's important. You got to be considerate of the stores you go into and the places you go. But in these odd different types of mountain bike pedals, these pedals allow you to have much more pad around the bottom of your shoe and have it much more like a normal shoe, because rather than the cleat sticking out of the bottom, it fits up underneath that rubber pad around the rim of the shoe. So that makes the shoes also not only quieter, but also easier to walk in. So when would you want to use one type of pedal versus another? Now, your flat pedals are useful if you're a commuter and have limited access or resources at work. If you're on a budget and expensive shoes and cleats and pedals aren't your thing. If you're a recreational rider, they're great for that. I use flat pedals on my one-gear bikes. I use them even on a couple of my multi-gear bikes for bad weather, for example, where I can wear boots or Merrells or something with a little more meat on them and not feel like I need to worry about whether or not I'm going to slip off, crash. I can get the ground early or quickly with my shoe if I'm in icy conditions, that kind of thing. There's immeasurable uses for these pedals. Now, if you're a harder rider, somebody who rides a lot more frequently, somebody who rides a lot more strenuously, then getting a cleat and clip-in pedal is really kind of important in a lot of ways. Personally, I use the speed plays. While the Look and the Shimano and the triangular pedals and cleats are perfectly good and tons of people use them, I just find these simpler to utilize, quicker to get in and out of for me, myself, personally. Either one doesn't matter. They both will function the same way as you rotate the crank. You're going to spend more money in any kind of clip-in shoe than you are with your standard flat pedal. That's just reality. These are kind of the simplest pedals in the world. So if you're just getting back into biking, if you are just starting to do commuting, etc., there is nothing wrong with having a set of flat pedals, regardless of what the elitists will tell you or how much they'll look down their snooty nose at you when they see you're on flat pedals. I ride them all the time. They're fantastic and they're easy. So you don't have to worry about having a pair of shoes or whether or not your cleats are tight or fit or adjusted properly, etc. You just put your foot on the pedal and you go. All right, so remember, flat pedal, it's the one you grew up on and it's incredibly versatile. Use your clip-in and your cleated pedals and shoes if you want something more advanced for racing, for triathlons, for criteriums, etc. Or if you're just a more advanced rider and enjoy the clip-in, clip-out thing. All of these are viable options. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's that simple. You ride what you like, what is comfortable for you, and what works for you. So those are your pedal choices. Flat pedal with a strap, clip-on cleats and shoes, separate costs, more advanced uses. But the true answer is ride what makes sense for you, budget-wise, effort-wise, and the type of riding you're doing. So that's it, Mavericks. Another episode of the Maverick Cyclist, looking at your pedal options and what you might want to choose for your current bike or your next bike. Until next time, come on, let's ride.
Consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon so we can share more bike love worldwide. If you do, you'll be automatically entered in periodic raffles of bicycles from my collection. And don't forget to pick up your SCHWAG from this episode or any of our episodes at the Maverick Store.